Now to TJ's one-on-one with Will Smith, the megastar showing us a side of himself we've never seen before, discussing his early life and his upcoming memoir. You hung out in Philly with him?
I did, Robin. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. I got my butt beat and bullied every day outside of school. That's how he says the song should have gone. And with that, he is revealing that the Will Smith we know is just a fantasy that was created.
Hold on one second. How about the best live intro ever?
Oh, thank you, George. That means a lot coming from you. But I hooked you in, reeled you in, but that's how he does. The guy you think you know is just a fantasy born out of fear and trauma in his childhood. And look, now with a new movie and a new book, he is finally, Will Smith, ready to introduce himself.
Superstars don't get any bigger than Will Smith.
In West Philadelphia,
The Fresh Prince, the box office record breaker,
I make this look good.
the Grammy winner,
Getting jiggy with it.
the global phenomenon. Will Smith is now, in his new memoir, finally ready to reveal who Will really is.
That's the movie star walk.
Is that what that is?
Back where it all started, Philadelphia.
I was born and raised here, and Philly is stamped on my heart.
What you talk about in this book, that you were carefully crafted Will Smith this thing. And you say clearly, that's not me. This book is about me. And you've been fooling us for 30 years?
There's a certain amount of protection that everybody does. We have a childhood trauma, and we decide that's never going to happen to me again. And in order to not experience that, it demands that we be a certain way. So this was the first time in my life where I felt like I had suffered enough to be able to have something valuable to say.
Is there anything in this book you wanted to make sure you ran by anybody?
I did a 2-week book camp in Miami where I called everybody that I mentioned in the book, and I read everybody, every single word. My mother and I had never even discussed my father, being abusive with her. We had never talked about it.
Ever?
Before, and the first time that we actually sat down and acknowledged the reality was when I read her the chapter. So it was hardcore, man.
You are steadfast and strong as anything in calling yourself a coward in this book. Still, to this day, you consider yourself that, or you passed that?
I always had this sense of being a coward because I watched my father beat up my mother and I didn't do anything. For a 9-year-old, it's hard to break that programming.
You mentioned a time, I think you were 13, that you said he hit her for the last time. And she left, is what you wrote, that you actually thought about suicide.
My mind had twisted it into being my fault that my parents weren't, staying together, and somehow I had failed. That's a thing that you just never know what's going on in the mind of children.
Were you ever worried that what you saw coming up in the house, you would become that?
I always knew I would never be physically violent, but there's a sort of covert emotional violence that can cloak itself in jokes, stabs, and I had to get a hold of in that lane that was even hiding itself from me sometimes.
Why are everybody so fascinated with what's going on with you and Jada?
We are pursuing the kind of love that everybody dreams about. And we just know that the road don't look like everybody think it's supposed to look. But, don't try this at home, children.
You don't give relationship advice necessarily.
I don't feel like I'm necessarily equipped yet to give relationship advice.
Next book.
Next book for sure.
I was reading the book and I watched the movie.
I know, right?
But the movie, I cried. Look, man, I cried.
The movie is King Richard, about the man who coached his daughters, Venus and Serena Williams, to superstardom.
Richard discovered something special. Richard had a different tact, and I was just always amazed by how much they love their father.
Now these peoples we about to go see, you gonna show them how dangerous you are?
Yes, Daddy.
Let me see your dangerous face. That's your dangerous face. There you go. That's your dangerous phase.
I was very excited to portray that kind of fatherhood on screen.
Man, this is a hell of a watch.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank
So
you.
congrats on that. Congrats
Hey.
on being back in Philly. Congrats on the book.
Thanks for meeting me in Philly. Thanks for coming to hang in Philly.
Of course, man. And let me know when the relationship book's coming out.
I know, yeah. That's the next one. That's the next one. This is the foundation. We're gonna lay the groundwork.
Hey, look, we talked to a lot of authors recently. They say, yeah, it was a pandemic book. I was sitting up in the house. He said, no, he's been thinking about this one for years and years, and finally this was the right time. And he said it this way: in the age of social media, we clean up, right? We filter the truth so often that it can become disingenuous. This is his effort to possibly help by just being honest. So it is a 400-page turner, I assure you. But King Richard, the movie, opens in theaters Friday, November 19th, available to stream on HBO Max as well. But
Think I can get that copy?
oh, by all means.
All right.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks after you read that thing.
It's worth it. Worth a few weeks for Will Smith.
Great job,
All right,
TJ.
TJ, great job. Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.